Hello, welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, $2 billion set aside to pay retrenched sugar workers. Payments to start soon. The Small Business Bureau extends training to families of retrenched sugar workers and state-of-the-art abattoir for Region 5. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. Daddy! And now for the details. $2 billion has been set aside to pay retrenched sugar workers. Payments to start soon. Here's this report.
In a special address to the nation on the state of the sugar industry, President David Granger said the government will soon begin the payout of severance to retrenched sugar workers.
The government is committed to the welfare of sugar workers and their families. It has estimated for the expenditure of over $2 billion to provide 50% of severance pay due to all ex-employees by the end of January 2018, the remainder being paid in the second half of the year.
The president pointed out an extensive review of ministerial budgets is also underway in order to find funds to enable sugar workers to receive their severance pay. In the meantime, the government has set aside funds towards alternative livelihood for the 4,000 retrenched workers.
It has earmarked $100 million to provide small loans for entrepreneurial activities which could open opportunities for employment after leaving the sugar industry.
President Granger reiterated that the sugar industry is being consolidated, not closed.
The government has acted resolutely and responsibly to protect the livelihood of workers, to preserve the viability of rural communities, and to prevent the further financial depletion of the country's treasury.
The amalgamation of the industry into 3 factories and estates at Albion, Blairmont and Iflot is intended to improve the efficiency and competitiveness of the Guyana Sugar Corporation while protecting the jobs of more than 11,000 workers. The president's statement was also read in the National Assembly by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu during today's sitting. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
The Small Business Bureau extends training to families of retrenched sugar workers. Tiffany Rogers has that report.
As the Small Business Bureau begins training of retrenched sugar workers, CEO Dr. Lowell Porter explained the offer is being extended to family members of those workers.
So if there's a young person in that family that says, well, I have an idea, I want to do something, that family is also covered under that same plan. They can come in and we'll train them, we'll help them, and if they meet meet the criteria for a loan or a grant or whatever we have available, we will definitely extend that to them.
Dr. Porter said that already 110 sugar workers, including their family members from the Wales and East Demerara estates, have benefited from training.
The idea is that as long as they have developed that skill, they will go back into the community and develop.
The Guyana Sugar Corporation will hire some of those recently trained to work on the remaining factories and estates, Dr. Porter said. Later this month, the Small Business Bureau will fund another round of training.
Through Critical Labour College, or GITC, and they're going to be training carpentry, masonry.
The Small Business Bureau is partnering with GAISUCO to achieve economic resilience as part of its alternative livelihood program for the retrenched workers. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
The Regional Democratic Council of Region 5, Mahaica Berbice, has achieved 100% of its 2017 work program. Details from Alexis Rodney.
The region was allocated $3.8 billion for both capital and current expenditure, of which $2.9 billion was expended. Under capital projects, the region was allocated $398 million, where $396 million was spent, representing 99.8% of the work program.
That represents 99.2% of our overall current and capital requirement. You would have observed that 8% was not completed. 0.8, make us say 8%. 0.8% was not completed. That is an indication where it covers the wages and salary emolument area. Because of retirement and other issues, those money remain in the system.
While the region was able to see 100% achievement in its work program, some major achievements stood out.
I would say the reduction of flood in the flood community, the availability of more greater access to all-weather and fair-weather road, farm-to-market roads. Those are major from our level when we look at the parts of the region where the 2 health centers is a great achievement, and perhaps my engineer only mentioned one emergency unit, but it's really, it would be 2 emergency units, the theater that we would be having in existence, and that is at Maikoni Hospital.
The administration is hoping to achieve much more in 2018, the REO said. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
The beef cattle industry will soon benefit from the construction of a state-of-the-art abattoir. Paul McAdam brings us that story.
Head of the Ghana Livestock Development Authority, Nigel Cumberbatch, said the abattoir's construction is in keeping with the agency's drive to ensure higher quality meats for consumers.
Importantly, we feel that it is important to put the abattoir where the animals reside, where the animals are. It will cost us in excess of $2 million to be able to construct. It will be an international standard abattoir.
He noted that despite the country's self-sufficiency in meat production, there is still some amount of importation taking place. This, he noted, is due to the quality required by the local fast food industry and other internationally aligned sectors. He explained that the abattoir will give locals an opportunity to benefit from this market.
With an international standard abattoir, we can also say to the persons that are bringing in meat, we are slaughtering our animals under proper hygienic conditions. And if the quality is good, we see no reason why you cannot purchase animals feeling satisfied of the wholesomeness of the meat that is going to be coming out of the abattoir.
The Ghana Livestock Development Authority is tasked with the development and monitoring of the local livestock sector. It provides various services inclusive of artificial insemination and advice to livestock farmers. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Some 120 hinterland students pursuing tertiary education on the coast will be housed in a spanking new dormitory facility for the new school term in September of 2018. More from Seneca Thorne.
The facility has been constructed next to the Hinterland Student Dormitory at Linendale East Coast, Demerara, at a cost of $183 million. Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Civil Engineer Traloyd Allen explained that some $80 million has been expended on the project thus far.
As I said, the project, the cost of it is roughly $183 million, and the measured works at present, it's roughly $55 million, right? But as you would note, there are materials on site to cater for the roof, and also the flooring, right? That brings it up to, for the project, it brings it up to a cumulative entitlement of roughly $80 million. So this project, it would be actually a rollover project, right? Rollover from 2017 into 2018. So we have roughly $90-something million allocated in the 2018 budget, which would cater for the completion of this project.
Allen explained that a road and fence will also be constructed.
So the aim of the ministry actually is to have a dormitory where we can house the tertiary students. Okay. The aim is to actually separate the two. As you would note, we'll be constructing a separation fence, so there wouldn't be much intermingling of the tertiary students with the secondary students.
Once completed, the facility will include 6 apartments, and each apartment will house 6 students. The apartments will be outfitted with a kitchenette, toilet and bath area, and also a study area. Seneca Thorne for InfoHub.
The Ghana National Bureau of Standards will be reinforcing its national quality policy this year to assist local organizations to meet the standards outlined by the Bureau. Here is Crystal Stahl with details.
The move is to assist local organizations to meet the standards outlined by the Bureau. This is according to the GNBS Executive Director Candle Walcott Bostwick at a January 9 press conference. Walcott Bostwick said through the implementation of several programs, the country's quality infrastructure will be further enhanced.
A number of initiatives are on board to help our local businesses as well as our government entities. So we'll be working with our inspection bodies, testing and certification bodies to strengthen the quality infrastructure, which will ensure that products leaving Guyana conform to requirements as well as those entering Guyana.
The director disclosed that the Bureau has received funding from the Ministry of Business through the International Development Bank. The program will be rolled out in the first quarter of 2018 for the benefit of GNBS officers and local manufacturers, including furniture builders.
They will be trained on the standard for furniture manufacturing and the code of practice, so they can implement that standard. And we can see an improvement in the quality of locally manufactured furniture on the market.
According to Walcott Bostwick, for the new year, the GNBS will be conducting more visits across the regions and collaborating with more government entities to strengthen national quality infrastructure in the country. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
And here's our final story. The Guyana Water Incorporated is taking strides in 2018 to clamp down on non-revenue water. More in this Renata Lafleur report.
Reducing non-revenue water continues to be a major challenge for the Guyana Water Incorporated. According to the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Richard Van West Charles, many persons are pilfering water and the company is taking steps to end this practice.
This year we have discovered a number of issues of people who are taking water illegally. And let me say that it's a good spectrum of people who are taking water illegally. Those who live in opulence are taking water illegally. And those who are squatting are taking water illegally. But these things we have to arrest.
Plans are on the way to install ultrasonic meters countrywide. These meters were proven successful during its recent pilot test. Dr. Van West Charles explained that these meters will help to alleviate non-revenue water loss.
This, in essence, will improve our efficiency in meter reading. We do know that we have to meter this entire country. One, if we are going to reduce the non-revenue water loss, because these new meters are able to detect leaks in homes.
In the meantime, the CEO is appealing to residents to be responsible, report any leakages, and pay their bills as the water company strives to upgrade its services. Renata Lafleur for InfoHub.
Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.